So, welcome to everyone. It's time to come back together here at the Dhamma Hall. Very special occasion, Magha Puja. This full moon is commemorating the Savaka Sannipata, an event which happens in every Buddha's life. In the case of our Buddha Gautama, on this full moon in ancient India, 1250 Arahants spontaneously gathered around the Lord Buddha in the Veḷuvana bamboo grove monastery, and the Buddha recited the Ovāda-Pāṭimokkha, the short 16-line summary of the whole Dhamma. All of these Arahants were ordained by the Buddha personally. All of them came spontaneously. So a very special event. And we are having a papa, a merit-making occasion of offering forest cloth to the Sangha, and any of the financial donations will be dedicated to our new patio roof. I especially like to welcome the Honorary Thai Consul Tina Field and her husband, Mr. Field. We are highly honored that you are here. Anumodana to everyone who helped out to prepare the event. I'm very happy that we have quite a crowd here today, because this is a special occasion on a very outstanding full moon where we can make the highest karma that can be achieved by material gifts, namely building supporting structures in the monastery. And as you know, at Dhammagiri we always aim and we strive that you guys get maximum good karma. We want you to get as much good karma, as much punya, as much boon as possible. This is, for example, why we have the buffet system with the offering. Because this way you have given all the food away to the monks, and this is the maximum good karma. And then we just pass it back to you. Now this is why we are doing the chanting for Sangha dana, because if your intention is to support the whole Sangha, to build not a dwelling for just one monk or feed one monk, you get maximum good karma of supporting the whole Sangha of the 4 quarters. But before we actually do the forest cloth offering, to further boost your good karma, we will be doing the ceremony of taking triple refuge and observing the 5 precepts. Because that also has the effect of maximizing punya for you. What do you think of 2 people who are giving exactly the same gift, but one person has faith in the Buddha, has faith in his teaching, has faith in the principle of karma and rebirth, and has faith in the Sangha, that the Sangha is practicing correctly, practicing the way to freedom from suffering, and the other person doesn't have that faith, and are both giving exactly the same thing, who makes more good karma? The person with conviction, the person with faith, with confidence in Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha, the person who has conviction that there's a result of good and bad actions. Now that is wide view, and wide view is additional good karma. So when we do this ceremony now, it is to strengthen our faculty of conviction, of saddha, of faith, because the stronger that is, the more the good karma you make in the ceremony afterwards. Similarly, what do you think? Two people give exactly the same thing, but one of them is keeping the 5 precepts. One of these two is virtuous. They are not killing, they are not stealing, they are loyal and faithful to their spouse, their partner. They are truthful and they don't get intoxicated by alcohol or drugs. The other person is not virtuous, they're doing all these bad things. What do you think, who is making more good karma? The virtuous person, silavant. The person who keeps the 5 precepts is the one who makes much more good karma, even if they give exactly the same thing. That is the purity of the giver. Okay, this is why we do the ceremony, and I like to ask Oi to lead the community in requesting triple refuge and 5 precepts.
Hello. Everyone do the 5 precepts, please. Mayang Pante Visung Rakhanataya Ti Saranena Saha Pancha Sila Niyajama Tutiyampi Mayang Pante Visung Rakhanataya Ti Saranena Saha Pancha Sila Niyajama Tatiyampi Mayang Pante Visung Rakhanataya Ti Saranena Saha Pancha Sila Niyajama.
I do the Namo Tassa first, and then lay community repeats after me. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa.
Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa.
Buddhaṃ saranang gacchami.
Buddhaṃ saranang gacchami.
Dhammang saranang gacchami.
Dhammang saranang gacchami.
Sanghang saranang gacchami.
Sanghang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi buddhaṃ saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi buddhaṃ saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi buddhaṃ saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi buddhaṃ saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Tisananagamanang nittitang.
Amapante.
Panatipata vedamani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Panatipata veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Adinadana vedamani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Adinadana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Kame sumecchachara vedamani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Kame sumichachara veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Musavada vedamani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Musavada veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Soda medaya macchapamadatthana vedamani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Sura meraya macchapamadatthana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Imani pancha sikkhapadani silena sugating yanti, silena bhoga sampada, silena nibbuting yanti, tasma silang visodhaye.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Can you notice something? Mindfulness, watching your mind, watching your heart. Can you notice a difference? What did it feel like before going through the ceremony? What does it feel like now? The Buddha said even just the intention to keep precepts, just the intention to have faith in the Triple Gem is of great benefit. How much more to follow up? And we can feel the effects of being virtuous, how it uplifts our mind, how it makes our mind happy and radiant already when we are determining it. However, if we keep up with it, it feels even better. Now, these 5 precepts lead to heavenly rebirth. These 5 precepts lead to the acquisition of wealth and happiness. And ultimately we can use them to train that they also lead us to Nibbana and the end of suffering. Okay, we have laid the foundation now, and we can do the heart of today's event, the offering of Pangsu Kula Jivavani. Not everyone may be familiar of the meaning. Why do we have these white pieces of cloth? In the Buddha's time, it was common that monks would keep the ascetic practice that they would never use robes offered by the lay community. They would never use finished, ready-made robes. Instead, when they saw some discarded rags lying around, even on the charnel ground, a shroud wrapped around a corpse that has been abandoned, they would collect that, they would thoroughly boil it to make it really clean and aseptic, and then they would dye it, and once they had collected enough, they would make a robe, which is basically patchwork. This is the rag robe wearer ascetic practice, and even Ajahn Mun was still practicing that. It's difficult to find a true rag robe wearer nowadays, but Ajahn Mun was still practicing that. This is why the robes have this particular pattern which you can recognize, because they are put together, patched together from different pieces. And why? Because it leads to frugality and contentment. It doesn't lead to conceit and envy, because no one envies a robe made of a shroud from the charnel ground and dyed and patched together. It was an expression of frugality. So these white cloths are obviously much better than a cloth from the charnel ground, but it's not a completed robe. And the idea is that it reminds us it's a symbol for this ancient practice. That's the meaning of pāpā, a forest cloth. So the white cloth is a reminder of that ascetic practice. And most, if not all, of the monks who met at Magha Puja, the 1250, they were very likely that they were actually having patched robes, and so did the Buddha himself. This is also Sangha Dana now, and that is the next step, how we try to maximize a good karma for you all. Because if you give me a robe, if you give that to Dhammasiha, you get only the good karma of whatever I am or represent. However, if you give to the Sangha, you get the good karma of offering a gift, not to any individual monk, but to the whole Sangha of the four quarters. It's not even just the 4 monks you see here. These 4 monks are just representing the Sangha. And if you really want to maximize your good karma, you make the clear intention. This is not just given to Dhammasiha or Ajahn Muneyo or the other monks. You want to do that as a gift to the whole Sangha of the 4 quarters, including all the monks in Thailand, in Sri Lanka, in Myanmar, anywhere. Because we are also sharing with other monks. And when monks come in, the things you are given, the other monks who come here, they can share that. And if you have that intention, the Buddha said, that is more good karma than giving a robe even to the Buddha. Can you imagine that? How would you feel giving a robe to the Buddha personally? You would be very happy, no? But the Buddha was very clear, and he explained to his own stepmother, who wanted to give a robe to the Buddha, the Mahapajapati Gotami, the sister of his own mother, who looked after him and brought him up after his mother died 7 days after his birth. And one day, when the Buddha came back to his hometown, she wanted to offer a Sanghati to the Lord Buddha himself. And the Lord Buddha gave her a long teaching and strongly encouraged her to give the Sanghati to the whole Sangha instead. And why did he do that? Out of compassion. Because he knew, if my stepmother can give the robe not out of attachment to her son, but she instead gives the robe to the whole Sangha. Now this is more pure, and this is more good karma for her. That was his idea. So this is why we are doing the Sangha Dana. That is a time where you form a strong intention in your mind. Karma is intention. Cetana is a factor that creates a good karma. And this ceremony now is meant that you make a very strong intention in your mind, and that you make clear your intention is not to me personally or any monk personally, but to the Sangha as a whole. And then you have got maximum good karma. Okay, or can lead us in Pangsakula Dana.
I would like everyone to carry your pots, please. Carry on your, yep. And Namo Tassa 3 times. And after that can repeat after me.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
Please repeat after me. อิมานิมะยังพันเต บังสกุระจิวรานิสปาริวารานิภิกขุสังคัสสะโอโนชยามะสาธุโนพันเตภิกขุสังโฆอิมานิบังสกุระจิวรานิสปาริวารานิปฏิคันหาตุอัมหากังทีฆรตังหิตายะสุขายะ Venerable Sir, we respectfully ask to offer this cloth of clothes together with these other requisites to the Bhikkhu Sangha. May the Bhikkhu Sangha please accept this case of cross together with these other requisites for the lasting benefit and happiness of us all.
Okay, that is the time to offer your forest cloth, the cast of very beautiful cloth, including from Lungparium, and also any of the other requisites you would like to offer to the monks. You can give it to any of the monks. Okay, please come forward to offer. Do your first forest cloth. Have you fully recovered or still painful? Have you fully recovered or still painful? Still painful.
This month is my birthday.
Your birthday as well? Gold coast has come as well.
I came from Gold
How's
Coast.
your husband keeping?
He's in Taiwan.
In Taiwan.
Yeah, I
Is he
came
fine?
from Gold Coast.
Is he fine? Is he okay?
He's okay, trying to stay away from polluted environment.
Blessings to him. Anumodana. If you could come. Okay, yeah, you offer the forest cloth. Yeah, you put it here. Give it to the monk. Yeah. Yeah, the cloth. This one. Put it here. Oh, well done. Lots of good karma to you. You'll be happy. of the few who closed it nicely. Well done. Hope the salad posting will bring you lots of happiness this year. Going? Do you feel more confident? Always remember the Buddha. If you think it's too much, just remember the Buddha. Getting better. Dedicating to your mother-in-law, father-in-law. Next, the monks will do one of our duties. You may not know about that, but as monks, we are getting all these gifts. Everything we need is supplied by our lay supporters, but that also puts a duty on us. Do you know what we have to do? Obviously, we are meant to use the things you are giving us, but we should also contemplate, because we shouldn't use the requisites you are giving us so that I just have fun, that I enjoy myself, that I get fat and a nice good food, that I can really enjoy myself and get fat, a nice kuti, that I live like a Maharaja, nice clothes, that I look like a model. No, this is not the idea. The monks should contemplate that they're using all the requisites, whether it is food, medicines, whether it is a dwelling, or whether it is robes. We should use them only for the purpose of the holy life. We should use them only to practice virtue, to cultivate bhavana, to develop sense restraint, to cultivate samadhi, wisdom and insight, and to help other beings to do the same. That is the purpose of the requisites we are using. They should be used only for that purpose. So the monks will now do a short silent contemplation of the forest cloth that you kindly offered us. Kale dadanti sapanya vadanyo vitamachara kalena dinang ariyesu ujubhutesu tadisu vipassana manatasa vipula hoti dakina Etata anumodanti veyavacham karonti va natena dakina ona tepi punyasa bhagino tasmadadea pativana ceto yatadinam mahapalang Punyani padalokasmin patitta honti paninanti. So next we have a little problem, because you have just determined that you give all the gifts you have given us to the Sangha. For example, there were some brooms given. I actually need a new broom at my kuti. So I would like to take that broom, but that wouldn't be right, because it doesn't belong to me. It belongs to the whole Sangha. And then I shouldn't just take it. So what do we do? Of course, the Buddha has given us a procedure to deal with that. We will now make a formal decision in the Sangha that what you have given to the whole Sangha, the Sangha is now deciding that it can be used individually, and that we will distribute it according to seniority. I get the first pick, Adamuneyu the second, Tanadicho the third, and poor Venerable Pali Dhammika. Fortunately, we're getting so much that even Venerable Pali Dhammika will be doing fine. And also a wise senior monk shouldn't just take the nice things for themselves, but they should make sure that even the ones at the end of the line still get enough to not starve and to be properly dressed and so on. Adamuneyu will do that ceremony for us.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Yange bhante sangho janato ayang patama bhago mahatera sapapunati avasesa bhaga amha kancheva papunante bhikkhunancha gahatanang teyata sukhang paribunjanto. May the Sangha hear me. The first portion of these offerings is for the senior monk, the remainder is for the rest of us, bhikkhus and lay people gathered here. May they partake of them as they please. Sadhu.
Okay, I can take the broom now to my kuti. The Sangha has officially decided it can be done. But the Buddha, you notice now the wisdom of the Buddha and how he worked it out, now that you get maximum benefit, that the Sangha functions properly. This is a reason that it still exists after 2.5 millennia. Now think about it, in Australia they're really proud if they have a company which has been founded 100 years ago. The oldest companies, I think there are some banks which existed already in the 1500s in Italy. They're still existing. But there's absolutely no organization, no association, no corporation that has continued continuously under the same constitution for 2,500 years. It takes a Buddha to do something like that. There's another huge outstanding quality of the Buddha, that he is able to institute an association that can do that. Okay, now we like to share blessings and express our Anumodana with the kind gifts you have given to the Sangha, including all the donations for the patio. That is a time to also share with all past relatives. That's a time to make your good karma even bigger by rejoicing in what you did yourself, but also rejoicing in what everyone else here is doing. because you're not making only good karma by what you're giving, but you also make good karma by feeling happy about the good things the others are doing. That is the next trick to absolutely maximize your good karma. And of course, even more good karma we share with all past relatives. We invite all devas to rejoice. May our new petty roof be soon established, and may many people be able to practice the Dhamma, generosity, virtue and meditation, well protected under the petty roof for a long time. Yatha vadivaha pura paripurenti sagarang evamevito dinam petanang upakapati echitang patitang tumam kepameva samichatu sapi punentu sankapa chando pannadaso yatha Manichotiraso yatha
Sabitio vivachantu
Sapadoko vinasatu Mate pavatvantadayo Sogidikayuko bhava Abhivatana silesane changvotapachayino Chataro Dhamma Vatanti Ayuvano Sokham Palam Ayodo Balado Diyodo Vannado Patibhanado Sokhasadata Medhavi Sokhang So Atikachati Ayum Natva Balang Vanang Sokhancha Patibhanado Dikayo Yasavavoti Yatha Yatu Papachati Ti Bhavatu Sapamangalam Rakhantu Sapadevata Sapabhutanubhavena Sada Soti Pavantu Te Bhavatu Sapamangalam Rakhantu Sapadevata Sapadhammanubhavena Sada Soti Pavantu Te Bhavatu Sapamangalam Rakhantu Sapadevata Sapasanganubhavena Sada Soti Bhavantu Te. So I think it is difficult to overestimate how much good karma you have made so far today. The way the Buddha described it, the act of giving, in particular giving buildings to the Sangha for a monastery. It's very difficult to overestimate that. There's so much you can't imagine. But even so, the Buddha encouraged us not to stop at only accumulating good karma. There's more to the Buddha's teaching than just a happy rebirth, a fortunate, good life, and lots of good karma. Even more important is to develop wisdom and understanding. Mindfulness, wisdom, understanding, knowledge of the Buddha's teaching. So we will now have a short Dhamma reflection on Magha Puja, and I will invite the Sangha to do some Dhamma teaching.
Brahma Jaloka Tipati Sampati Gatan Chalian Tiwalang Jaya Jatha Santi Tasatap Parachaka Chatika, เทเสตุธัมมั
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhang namang sanghang namassami. Sappa papassa akaranang kusalasa upasampada sachitta pariyodapanang etang buddhana sasananti. To avoid doing any evil, to accomplish what is good, what is wholesome, and to purify the mind. That is the teaching of all Buddhas. These are the opening verses of the famous Ovāda-Pāṭimokkha, which the Lord Buddha recited more than 2,500 years ago, this time of the year in India at Magha Puja, full moon. The location was the Veḷuvana, the bamboo grove monastery at Rājagaha, the capital of Magadha, with King Bimbisara, the king. And it was the occasion of the Savaka Sanipata, the assembly of Arahant Disciples who spontaneously came together on that full moon night to meet the Lord Buddha, and the Buddha reciting a short 16-line instruction summarizing the whole path of practice for the Sangha. All of these 1250 Arahants were not informed but came spontaneously. All were fully released from all defilements, and all of them were ordained by the Buddha personally. Not by anyone else. They met the Buddha, gained inspiration, and the Buddha personally gave them their upasampada, their ordination. This is an event that occurs in every Buddha's lifetime, at least once. In the case of our Buddha, once at Rājagaha, at Magha Puja. And if we look at these instructions, this Ovāda-Pāṭimokkha is so famous because it's very simple, very clear-cut. It is something that we can use for directing our whole life in that direction. And very important, it starts not to do any evil. This is actually the first one. Rather than rushing ahead before we really know and trying to do all kinds of good things, at least let us make sure what we do is not evil, what we do is not harming or hurting anyone. This is a foundation. And in particular, it is the 5 precepts which you observed earlier. Not to intentionally kill any living being, not to steal, theft, burglary, robbery, to be faithful to the spouse, the partner, to be truthful, not to lie, and not to take the poison called alcohol. No one calls it alcohol, and no one says, "Oh, do you like to come over drinking some alcohol?" This is not what people say. No, they call it champagne, they call it tinny, they call it beer. All of that stuff is poison, and in particular it poisons the mind. It leads to heedlessness. It leads to a loss of sense of shame and conscience. We don't take that. The Buddha recommended us very strongly. So this is the heart of avoiding to do evil. It's just 5 things can already protect us from all the really bad karma. Isn't it amazing? Another sign of the Buddha's wisdom that he could refine it down to only 5 things he really asks you not to do. On a Sunday, a weekend like that, now how many things could you do in a city like Brisbane? It's endless options, thousands of options. And the Buddha only asks you these 5, please better don't do it for your own welfare, for the welfare of other beings. The second, to accomplish what is good and wholesome. Kusala Sarupa Sampada, like what you did today. Coming together with your Kalyana Mitra, offering food to the Sangha, offering forest cloth, offering support for building a structure in the monastery for the Sangha. This is a classic example of doing what is wholesome, creating good karma, giving it all to the Sangha with that intention of widening, not to any individual because you like them or you don't like them, but not to the whole Sangha because the other monks will come here and can still use it. It's not just for me or Ajamuneyo, it's for the whole Sangha. This is accomplishing what is good and wholesome, building up that store of punya. The Buddha said, just like a big barrel fills up drop by drop, this is how we make good karma, boon, punya, pin. Don't underestimate even a small act of goodness and kindness. If we continue to do that all the time, one day our good karma will be overflowing and our heart will be bright, happy, the mind is radiant, and we will feel at ease because that is the effect of good karma already in this life. It gives you a good rebirth in the future, it gives you the wealth and peace and harmony and success in future lives, even many future lives. But even here now you can notice the effect of the good karma you're making by the happiness you feel in your heart. Sachitta Pariyodapanam, number 3. Not to do evil, to do what is good. And number 3, to purify the mind. How do we purify the mind? By meditation, bhavana, by developing samatha, samadhi, calm tranquility, unifying the mind on a suitable meditation object, remembering the Buddha, doing breath meditation, developing loving kindness to all beings. This is the practice of samadhi. And based on that, we cultivate wisdom, we develop insight by contemplating reality. We contemplate the Four Noble Truths. We contemplate the characteristics of uncertainty, not sure. All sankharas are changing. I'm getting older these days. Each time I look into a mirror or on a photo someone took from me, I can immediately see anicca. Anyone else who feels like that? Do you feel upset if you look into the mirror or you see the photo and you compare it to 20 years ago, 30 years ago, when you looked much more handsome, much more beautiful? This is not a skillful approach. The skillful approach is you immediately remember Dhamma. And when you look at the selfie or the photo, you're not trying to do the photoshopping, but you contemplate anicca. This is the nature of all sankharas, this is the nature of the body. Nothing that has been created, nothing that has been constructed, nothing that depends on condition can last forever. So what do? We have to let go. It's the same with pain. When the body gets older, the pain becomes usually more. Anyone else noticing that, or is it only me? People don't like pain, and they like pleasant feeling, and that can't be done. If you have a body that can give you pleasant feelings, nice food, you also have a body that can give you pain. So the only way is letting go, by seeing that it's impermanent, that it doesn't lead to happiness, by seeing that holding on and clinging is what causes the pain to be really painful. If we didn't identify, if we didn't hang on to the pain, it wouldn't hurt so much. The big problem is the identification and the hanging on. So we purify our heart by developing wisdom and insight. One other little thing I wanted to mention. I've already said that the Ovāda-Pāṭimokkha we are discussing happened in Rājagaha, and it was in the first monastery ever offered. Do you know who offered the first monastery? Not another Pindika, it was King Bimbisara. And when the Buddha had the triumphal entry into Rājagaha and the whole population was celebrating, the king invited the Buddha for the meal, and then he offered Aram, a park he owned, as the very first monastery, the Bamboo Grove Monastery, to the Buddha, and the Buddha accepted it. And then the monks, the Sangha, could accept monasteries. But interestingly, they had no buildings. That was just the park. In those days, all the monks were just living in the open, under a tree, on a heap of straw, even in the open, maybe in a cave. And one morning, the billionaire in Rājagaha, a billionaire banker, really rich guy and a billionaire, but he went for exercise in the early morning and he saw all the monks getting up, and some monks crawling out of a heap of straw, other coming from under the tree, others coming out of a cave. And then he thought, I wonder, maybe actually helpful if they had some buildings, that they have some protection from the sun, that they have some protection from the rain. So he started inquiring from the monks, can I give that? And the monks said, no, it hasn't been allowed by the Buddha. So he asked the monks, can you ask the Lord Buddha, I want to offer buildings. You already have a monastery, but you don't have any buildings. And then it came to the Buddha, and the Buddha talked to the billionaire, and the billionaire got permission to offer a vihara. Vihara means any of the structures, the buildings you erect in a monastery. And in one day he built 60. You can see he's a very rich guy. He could build 60 in one day. However, as the permission had been given, all the other people heard about that, and they were very happy that they could make more good karma, and they also started building and offering viharas, structures, at the monastery to the monks. This is the origin of offering monasteries, and also second, offering structures, dwelling places, Dhamma halls, patios, for the monastery. We are lucky, the Buddha has given permission, the monks can accept that, it makes our life easier. And this happened in the same monastery where Magha Puja, Savaka Sanipata, Ovāda-Pāṭimokkha happened. This was the first monastery. These were the first structures being erected. And I like to mention that because we are dedicating all our donations today for the new patio roof. Okay, thank you for your patience. We have one program point remaining. We just talked about the unique qualities of the Buddha, and now we will listen to some teachings of the Buddha. Would you like meeting the Buddha? How would you feel if the Buddha suddenly came in? You would be over the moon, isn't it? We can't do that though. The Buddha has attained parinibbana, he will not walk in. But the amazing thing is we have teachings of the Buddha, and we have a very reliable tradition in the early part of the Pali Canon. So we are still able to listen to teachings of the Buddha, which at least in my conviction are accurate almost by the syllable, in the original language the Buddha spoke, Pali. And for me it is always inspiring and giving me a lot of happiness to contemplate that. The same teaching Venerable Ananda heard from the Buddha's own lips, the same teaching Venerable Sariputta, Venerable Maha Moggallana could hear from the Buddha, exactly the same we can still hear. And this is what we are going to do now with the Paritta chanting. Because several of the Parittas are directly given by the Buddha, and we are repeating them. The Sangha has preserved them for 2,500 years. And because I've been talking a lot already, fortunately we have Ajahn Muneyu here, one of our top experts. He knows very many suttas by heart. He has a very regular chanting practice. He is sharing regularly, giving dana and sharing to the devas with all the chanting he does. And he will be leading the Paritta chanting for us. Venerable Adichu will do the traditional invitation to the devas and all spirits, because they also like to listen to that. This is so special that spirits come from all kinds of places to be able to listen to the Buddha's teaching. And I like one of our committee members, Dr. Sam, to do the formal invitation to the Sangha to recite Paritta. It will be helpful if you use the mic, then they will hear you on the YouTube.
Vipatti Patibhaya Sabba Sampatti Siddhya Sabba Bhaya Vinasaya Parittam Bhuta Mangala. Vipatti Patibhaya Sabba Sampatti Siddhya Sabba Roga Vinasaya Parittam Bhuta Mangala.
Aritavana meta sameta badanta Awikita chita paritang badantu Sage kame charupe girisikiratate chantarike vimane Diperate chakame taruvanagahane gehawatumikete Chayantu dewa jalatala visame yakakanda banaka Titanta santi keyang munivaravachanang sadawo me sunandu Dhamma savanakalo ayam baranta Dhamma savanakalo ayam baranta Dhamma savanakalo ayam baranta
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhaṃ saranang gacchāmi, Dhammāṃ saranang gacchāmi, Sanghaṃ saranang gacchāmi, Dutiyampi Buddhaṃ saranang gacchāmi, Dutiyampi Dhammāṃ
Saranang gacchami Dutiyampi Sanghang Saranang gacchami Tatiyampi Buddhang Saranang gacchami Tatiyampi Dhammang Saranang gacchami Tatiyampi Sanghang Saranang gacchami. Yo chakoma mohamala pakato samang vabuddho sugato vimoto marasapasa vinimochayanto papisikhe manjanatang videya Buddhang varantang sirasanamami loka sanatang cavinayakan catante jasati jayasiti hotu sapantaraya cavinasamentu dhammo dajoyo viyatasa satu dasi siloka savisodimaka niyaniko dhammadara sadhari sadhavaho santikaro sucino dhammang varantang sirasa namami moha padalang upasantadahang tante jasati jayasiti hotu sapantaraya cavinasamentu sadhammasena sugatanugoyo loka sapapu pakile sajeta santo sayang santiniyo jakocha savakata dhammang viditang karoti sanghang varantang sirasanamami bodhanubodhang samasila dite tante jasate jayasiti hotu sapantaraya cavinasamentu. Namo Arahato Sambuddha Samahisino Namo Uttama Dhamma Sasavakata Sevate Nida Namo Mahasangha Sapivisuddha Sila Ditino Namo Omataya Radha Saratana Daya Sasadukang Namo Omakatita Sata Savatu Daya Sabinamo Karapabhavi Navigachantu Upadava Namo Karanubhavi Nasuvati Hotu Sapada Namo Karasati Jina Vidim Ihomi Tejawa Asivana Chapalanang Panditanang Chasivana Puja Chapujaniyanang Etam Mangalamuttamang Patirupati Savaso Chapube Chakata Punyata Atasamma Panidija Etam Mangalamuttamang Bahusachan Chasi Panchavinayo Chasusikito สุภาษิตาชายาวาจาเอตัมมังกาลมุตตมังมาตาปิตุอุปาทานังพุทธทาราสสังฆาโหอนาคุลาจักขามันตาเอตัมมังกาลมุตตมังทานัญจธัมมจาริยาจาญาตคานัญจสังฆาโหอนาวัจจานิคัมมานิเอตัมมังกาลมุตตมังการติวิรติปาปะมัจจปานาจะสัญญโมอัปปมาโดจะธัมมิสุเอตัมมังกาลมุตตมังการโวจะนิวาโทจะสันตุติจะคตัญญูตาคาเลนะธัมมาสาบานังเอตัมมังกาลมุตตมังคันติจะโสวัชชาสัตตะสัมมานานัญจดัสสนังคาเลนะธัมมัสสะกัจฉะเอตัมมังกาลมุตตมังทัพโพจะพระมัจจาริยังจะอริยสัจจานาดัสสนังนิพพานาสัจฉิกิริยาจะเอตัมมังกาลมุตตมังพุทธัสสะโลกธัมเมหิจิตังยาสนะคัมปฏิอาโสคังวิราชังเขมังเอตัมมังกาลมุตตมังเอตาดิสานิคัตวานาสาปัตตมปาราจิตาสาปัตตโสติงาชันติทันติสัมมากาลมุตตมันติคารณียมัตตคุสาลีนายันทังสันทังปาดังอภิสัมเมจะสาโกอุจุจะสุจุจะสุวัจโจจะสามุตุอนาติมานิสันตุสักโขจะสุภาโรจะอาปะคิโจจะสัลลาหุขวุติสันตินทริโยจะนิปัคโขจะอาปะกาโบคุเลสุอานานุกิโตนาจักขุทังสัมมาจาริคินจิเยนาวินยุปาเรอุปาวะเดโยสุขิโตวาคิมิโนหนตุสาเปสัตตาภาวันตุสุขิตาตาเยเคชิพานาบุตาติตาสาวะทาวาราวะอนาวสิสาดิขาวะเยมหันทาวะมัชฌิมาราสขะอนุคทุลาดิทาวะเยจาดิทายิจาดุเรวสันติอาวิดุเรพุทธาวะสัมภเวสีวะสัพเพสัตตาภวันตุสุขิตาตานาภโรภารังนิโคเปทานาติมันเยทะคาตจินังกินจิวายาโรสนาปฏิกัสสัญญานัญญมัญญาสะดุขมิเชยมาทายาทานิยังพุทธังอายุสาเอกพุทธังอนุราเกเอวัมปิสาบะพุเทสุมานะสัมภาวะเยอปาริมาณังเมตัญชะสัพพโลกัสมิงมานะสัมภาวะเยอปาริมาณังอุทังอาโทจติริยังจะสัมปาดังอเวรังอสัพพตังทิตัญจารังนิสิโนวะสยานโนวะยาวทัสสวิกตมิโตเอทังสติงอดิเทยพระมะเอตังวิหารังอิธัมมาหุติติจานุปกรรม สิลวัตตัสสะเนนะสัมปันโนกามิสุวิเนยเกตังนาหิจาตุกะภะเสยังปุนาเรติติ Virupa kehi me metang erapatehi me chapiya putehi me metang kanhako tamakhi chapadakehi me metang dipadakehi me chatupadehi me metang pahupadehi me maman apadako hingsi maman hingsi dipadako maman chatupado hingsi maman hingsi pahupado sabi sata sabi pana sabi bhuta chakewala sabi bhadra nipassantu makinchipapamagama apamano buddho apamano dhammo apamano sangho pamanavantani siring sapani ahivichika satapadi unnanabi sarabhumusika katame rakha katame parita patikamantu bhutani sohan namo bhagavato namo satana samma sambuddhanam yanto nimitang avamangalan chayo chamanapo sakuna sasado papagahodo supinang akantang Buddhanupavena vina samentu yanto nimitang avamangalan chayo chamanapo sakuna sasado papagahodo supinang akantang Dhammanupavena vina samentu yanto nimitang avamangalan chayo chamanapo sakuna sasado papagahodo supinang akantang Sanghanupavena vina samentu Dukkha pata jani dukkha bhaya pata jani bhaya sukha pata jani sukha hontu sapi pipanino etavata cahamhi sambatang punya sampadang sabi deva numodantu sabba sampati siddhya danandadantu sadhaya siddhang rakhantu sabada bhavana virata hontu gachantu devata gata Sabi Buddha Padapata Pachikanan Jayam Balang Arahanta Nanchati Narakan Bandhami Sabaso Pahung sahasam apinimita savudanta grime kalang mudita rasasena marang dana didhamma vidhina cintava munindo tante jasa bhavatu te jaya mangala nimarati rekam abhiyo cinta sabarati โครังปานาลาวะคะมะกัมมัตถาทายักขังขันติสุทันตวิธินาจิตตวามุนินโดทันเตจะสาภาวตุเตจายมังกลานินาลากิริงกัจฉวาระอติมาตาภูตังตาภากิจกรรมสนิวสุดารุนันตังเมตัมบุสิกาวิธินาจิตตวามุนินโดทันเตจะสาภาวตุเตจายมังกลานิอุคิตคากรรมอธิหัตสุดารุนันตังทาวันติโยจนะปตังกุลิมาลาวันตังอิติปิสังคตมโนจิตตวามุนินโดทันเตจะสาภาวตุเตจายมังกลานิขัตวานาคาตมุตาระอิวกาภินิยาจิมชายดุตตวจนะจนะคายมาเชสันเทนะโสมาวิธินาจิตตวามุนินโดทันเตจะสาภาวตุเตจายมังกลานิสัจจังวิหายมติสัจจคาวาทะเคตุวาดาบิโรปิตมานังอติยันทบูตังปัญญาปดิปัจจลิโตจิตตวามุนินโดทันเตจะสาภาวตุเตจายมังกลานินันโตปานันดาบุจกังวิบุตังมหิทิงโพเทนะเทระบุจกินาธัมมาปยันโตอิทุปเทสาวิธินาจิตตวามุนินโตทันเตจะสาภาวตุเตจายมังกลานิตุกาอาทิติบุจกินาสุดาตาทังบรมมังวิสุทธิจุติอิติปะคาบิดานังญาณกาเดนาวิธินาจิตตวามุนินโดทันเตจะสาภาวตุเตจายมังกลานิเอตาปิพุทธจายมังกลาอัตถกาทาโยจาโนตินาติเนสารเตอัตถันดิหิตวานาเนกาวิวิดานิจุปาดาวานิโมขังสุขังอธิกาเมยานาโรสัพพัญโยมหาคารุณิโกนาโตหิตายาสาปปานินังปุเรนตวาปารมิสาปปาโตสัมโพธิโมตตมังเอเทนะสัจจวาเจนะโหตุเตจายมังกลังจายันโตโพธิยามุเลสักยานังนัมดิวาดาโนเอวังตวังวิจโยโหหิจายาสุจายมังกาลิอปาราจิตาปาลังเคสิเสปทวิโปคาเรอภิเสเคสัพพพุทธานังอากาปาโตปาโมดติสุนาคาตังสุมังกลังสุปปาตังสุหุติตังสุขโนสุโมหุโตจัสสุยิตังบรมจาริสุปตาคินังกายคัมมังวาจาคัมมังปาดาคินังปาดาคินังมโนคัมมังปานิดิเตปาดาคินาปาดาคินานิกัตวานาลาบันตาเทปาดาคิเนภาวตุสัมปมังกลัมรักขันตุสัพพเทวตาสัพพพุทธานุภาเวนัสสะดาโสติภาวันตุเตภาวตุสัพพมังกลัม รักขันตุสัพพะเทวตาสัพพะธัมมานุภาเวนัสสะดาโสทิภาวันตุเตภาวตุสัพพะมังคลังรักขันตุสัพพะเทวตาสัพพะสังฆานุภาเวนัสสะดาโสทิภาวันตุเต
Okay, we are reaching the end of today's proceedings. What is left to me is once more to express my Anumodana, my mudita, my rejoicing. First of all, the Honorary Thai Consul Tina Field and her husband for sharing this highly auspicious occasion with us. To the Sangha Ajamuneyo for leading Patimokkha, Thanadicho for inviting the Devas, Anumodana to all the Devas. May they rejoice in your goodness. Anyone yesterday working bee, anyone helping and preparing, Anumodana to all, to share it widely, get many people in here. And good on you, as they say here. And we still have some books to distribute to anyone who likes to do that. But maybe we can formally close the session with the Arahant. Maybe Prani can lead that. Prani, do you like to lead the community with the Arahant?
Arahant Samma Sambuddho Bhagava Buddhaṃ Bhagavaṃ Abhivādemi Savakhato Bhagavata Dhammo Dhammaṃ Namasami Supatipanno Bhagavato Sāvaka Saṅgho Sanghaṃ namāmi